Hello, friends. This is a memory from my childhood in a small town in Nevada. I was 16, found my first weekend job as a dishwasher for a restaurant in Fernley. It was called Annie B's. This restaurant was part of the Truck-In Company, which was located off of I-80 about 35 miles east of the Reno-Sparks area. This was a small hospitality company with less than 200 employees, and from what I can find, they had an annual revenue of more than $50 million, and were not connected to any of the larger chains of companies that were around at that time. The Truck-In was the only game in town for years. They had an absolute monopoly on this kind of business. Now there are many truck stops there. The appeal of companies to open in Fernley is huge. Fernley has two exits from I-80. There is a Walmart, a Lowe's, hotels, fast food, a grocery store, as well as many other services offered from the large truck stop companies that are there now. Fernley is also home to many companies that manufacture and export product by truck and railway. There is also a ton of agriculture there. It's a no-brainer to build a truck stop or several. The next major services are Elko, which is about 4.5 hours east of Fernley. And there's a whole lot of nothing between Fernley and Elko. I talked to a few longtime residents of Fernley, and they told me that the Truck-In had been there since the 70s. From the beginning, they were constantly expanding. They started out selling fuel and added a casino, a motel, a truck shop, a tire shop, a truck wash, showers, a store selling items that you would find in a truck stop, and of course the restaurant. Tons of parking all around. They also had pens for large livestock and storage areas that could be rented. I'm not sure why, but there was also a cemetery there, which is kind of spooky because it's not there anymore. The restaurant was called Annie B's. It was an old school truck stop restaurant. It wasn't fancy, but had hearty comfort food at a cheap price. Their signature dish was a 5-egg breakfast served 24 hours a day. They also had biscuits and gravy, pancakes, and burgers. Truckers ate it up, literally. I cringed at the thought of them filling up on all that food and getting sleepy on the road because of carb coma. I learned a lot there. One of the most disturbing things is how they made country gravy from sausage and bacon drippings. I love the flavor, although I don't eat much biscuits and gravy anymore. Here's a menu from Annie B's. These prices are from the 2007 era. It was the only picture of a menu that I could find from there. I worked there in the mid-80s and things were considerably cheaper. It was my first job, and of course, as a teenager, I didn't drive yet, and I had to rely on my parents for a ride, which was a pain for them, so I wasn't there long. I moved to Silver Springs, which is about 15 miles south of Fernley, in December of 2019, right at the beginning of Corona. I used to go to Fernley on the weekend days to poke around. I also went to high school there as a teenager and was kind of familiar with the town. I went where the Truck-In stood and was surprised that the whole thing had been leveled. I did some research, found that the company fell victim to the 2008 crash. The last cup of coffee was sold at the restaurant on June 13th, 2008, and then Annie B's was boarded up and sat there with all the other buildings for an unknown number of years. A large truck stop company bought the property and built a sprawling truck stop on the property next to the old Truck-In, and all the buildings were leveled. There is nothing left but a couple of signs, the slabs and asphalt, and a few remnants of what was there. It's all parking for trucks now. It was sad to see it go, but at the same time, things move on. I can't find information on who owned it and their story, so if you have any info, please leave it in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. Take care.